Every time one of my students finally gets funded, the next question they ask me is how much they should now risk per trade. I tell them what I think, but let's see what all these funded traders will answer to this question. Let's get into number one.
I may be doing, yes, you've seen me get to 1.5 million. We got like 3 million in challenges, whatever it may be, and I'm risking 2 or 3%. But hold up a sec. When I'm live, I'm doing them 0.25, 0.5. And I'm also consistent with the payouts. Like, hold up a sec as well. Me versus me, you versus you. I've also got a track record of a personal account. I've also got a track record of getting payouts. You can't emulate that. It doesn't mean you can't be that or be better than me for your own version, right? But just get out of drawdown. Like, I think that is the biggest skill. Like, every profitable trader that I know that are not in the limelight, because there's no like hedge fund traders and other things, is they manage drawdown more. Making profits easy. You're in good mood, you're making money. But can you manage drawdown? Can you get out of drawdown? That's way more important. That's way more important because that's a psychological battle and that's a skill set for life. Not gambling that shit to fucking double down and YOLO it and pass the challenge, you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
How do you end up managing so much so much capital? How do you manage all of those different accounts at once? Because it sounds like it might be a quite crazy endeavor to undertake.
Yeah, it was very hard at the beginning until, let's say, after the 2-3 million mark started getting hard because there's so much accounts. But again, it's just now it's more capital management, to be honest, because I keep track of all of the accounts, the payout dates, the profits. For example, this month I just locked in all the accounts in payouts. So even if it's under 0.5%, just kind of locked it in and waiting for the payout. But the way I do it is now I use 3/4 of my capital is connected to a trade copier from one of my personal capital, my personal main accounts where I trade very good setups, 0.5% risk or even 1% risk, maybe one a week, sometimes 2 setups, but usually just one. And I use that, and then on that capital, I focus just on the monthly return, so end of the month return. Don't really look at payout dates. Whenever I'm, let's say, 1-2% profit or at the end of the month, then I just kind of request all the payouts and stuff like that. And the other capital, I just trade one account at a time. So I take more trades, intraday trades. I scalp, I see a good move, maybe 1-to-1 usually. I take 1-to-1 trades. Risk 0.5%. So if I have 5 accounts, I just go each one, until I'm in profit, let's say 0.5%, and then either I go again or I just lock the payouts in and wait for the account to be reset. Like I did now, it's just 0.5% each account, leave it there, no reason to go for more, and yeah, that's about it. So it's not that hard, to be honest. You have your main account, and then you have a few more accounts on the side where you can take some trades.
Just make a simple example, not to drag this too long. Let's assume you're trading a 100K account with 1% risk, right? And you're able to get 2 consecutive, I would rather say 3 consecutive payouts, by its nature, all kind of similar, right? And all traded with the same set of rules, like you can see consistency, then you start scaling up. But you have to have that base, because we have to get used to bigger numbers slowly as well. Because now, let's assume I'm trading a 100K account with 1% means you have $1,000 risk per trade, right? Now it's a different ball game whether you trade with $2,000 risk per trade or 1,000. It's mentally just different, right? It's really different. I mean, I'm not sure about your experience about scaling and feeling different risk pressure, but for me, at some point of time, I remember back in the days, getting to $1,000 of risk was a big step. Like that 4-digit risk, somehow hard to overcome.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then every time, I also remember that every time when I saw on my P&L, also a 4-digit, I was getting like my heart, I felt like I'm feeling pressure, and every retracement back, right? I was like, oh, should I press close manually because I want to keep that 4-digit? It was, at this time, was huge for me,
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is basically that people have to slowly get used to these bigger numbers until they are getting more numb to these numbers, right?
To become more numb to the numbers.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Where you don't feel any mental pressure, all right? And this is where you then, with a 100K account, I have 2-3 consecutive good payouts. let's move now to 200K or 300K account. And let's do the same milestone planning. See if it works, right? And then you move to, right?
Yeah.
To next.
So-
you cannot move from a 100K to $1 million account. Doesn't work.
Like, how much capital you have under management now? How's that going for you?
So right now it's 3 million. So it's 1 million with VST, 1 million with Search Trader, 400K FTMO, 400K True Forex funds, and 200K was funded next.
Yeah, and when I got funded, I'm like, all right, like I'm already funded. After my first withdrawal, you get your money back for the challenges. So I'm like, all right, this, might as well just put on like, anywhere between 1% to 2% risk on the accounts. And yeah, but it is more structured like you were saying. But it wasn't a big issue because honestly, like when I had the 300K account, right? On a 300K account, you can lose up to $15,000 for the day. So it's not like I'm not going to risk $15,000 of my own money anyways. So it was just a lot less stress because I know that this is not my money. If I blow these accounts, I could just, first of all, if I already got my withdrawal, I already got my refund for what I paid for the account. And yeah, and then I could just always get another challenge account and my money is never being risked. So that was like the appeal, especially because even though I made $50,000 from December to January, man, it was like so stressful. Because like if you're putting on size, and especially with Bitcoins trading 24/7, and it was just too much. And I'm like, you know what? I wanted to take a little bit of a break from that and then kind of just, try to get as much funded accounts as possible.
Wait, when you're trading now, what would you say your typical win percentage would be? Some other stats around your trading, your typical risk to reward, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So right now, the way I trade the risk reward always varies depending on the market. So it obviously depends on where I'm entering, where's the next resistance level. So the risk reward, for me personally, I don't have it stagnant. It's like if I enter here and the market wants to go here and I'm looking for longs, and from here to there is, let's say 5R, relative to my stop loss, then that's what my risk reward is going to be. But my average risk reward from my stats is about 2.5 to 3R. Win percentage is anywhere around like 65, 70%. So the win percentage is pretty good. My issue is always just like sizing up a little too much sometimes. And it goes back to trying to be aggressive, trying to be opportunistic. Sometimes I can be a little bit too opportunistic, especially when the setup sometimes isn't as opportune. But yeah, man, so that's kind of like the average risk to reward to win rate that I'm currently dealing with right now.
I take a more conservative approach, and we talked about this. Like I take a more conservative approach. Like I'm only risking 0.25% across, $4 million. So it's like a $10,000 risk, but somebody that has a $200,000 account or maybe a $400,000 account could take that same monetary risk as me, right? But they're risking more on the account. So the risk of ruin is probably higher, which they probably don't care because like they can just pay for another 400K account, right? Like I'm trying to keep the accounts and like build the track record. So I guess there's multiple ways. And like, last time we sat down with Riz, you guys got me thinking a little bit about like managing it differently, and I tried to do like the 1% risk on like different accounts and then switch to a fresh account. But like as soon as that pod ended, like I wanted to draw it out like the next week.
Did you have the same thoughts after meeting Pasquale and knowing how he trades? Because majority of them, they do trade risking more than 1% on the front of the account.
So it's like a fine balance, to be honest. You have to figure out like what works for you. Like
100%.
Me, I'm more comfortable doing a 0.25%, but like with everything going on in the industry, we don't know. So like if I, there's opportunity costs there. Like if I don't risk more, like, and all of the props disappear, well, hopefully they don't. But if they all disappear, now I've missed out on some of those gains, right? So it's like a decision I have to make at the end of the day.
And also tell the audience how much funding do you have, because they're hearing 0.25%. They're like, oh, that's nothing. But after you hear how much he has,
so I had 5 million until my Forex funds shut down, and I'm at 4.3 right now. If I pass 2 challenges that I'm on right now, I'll be over 5 million again. But again, like, me and you, we've talked, like, we're trying to build a track record. We're trying to attract investor capital. And yes, we have opportunities out there. We could possibly manage 10, 15, $20 million. So as long as props stay around, it's like, I'm trying to trade personal. I'm trying to trade prop. I want to trade hedge fund at some point. So like, does it really matter if they're letting you work remotely and just put all your trades onto a trade copier and just do the same thing that you're doing, right?
If you're looking for a 100% mechanical strategy to get funded and a community based on actual trading data, apply with the link in the description. If not, I watched hours of interviews just for you to compile the strategies of all these funded traders in this video right there. Hopefully it helps you out. See you soon.